Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current latest transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So first topic of the development, I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Ryan Sessegnon from Fulham. I think I updated you about him, was it now 2 or 3 weeks ago, because obviously it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Fulham. Obviously we do know he's been on Tottenham's agenda for some time. Obviously we've expressed our interest in Ryan Sessegnon, because obviously Ryan Sessegnon's obviously had the year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, of course, but I think he is reluctant, is Ryan Sessegnon, to spend another season in the Championship with Fulham, and obviously Fulham are relegated, and of course they are in the Championship for next season. So I think for his own preference, he does want to make the move to Tottenham, does Ryan Sessegnon. I think reportedly, Fulham are demanding that they want around £40 million for him. I don't know if, Tottenham are willing to pay up to £40 million for him. I think Tottenham want to get him for around £25 million. But obviously, Ryan Sessegnon, will want to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously, only 19 years of age. Obviously, so far has spent the entirety of his career with Fulham. I think he's been their senior squad about 3 years, of course. I think he's made over 100 odd senior appearances as Ryan Sessegnon. So Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously, Tottenham are in there for him. He can play as a left back. He can also play as a left winger. But I think now Ryan Sessegnon is actually primarily a left winger. But yeah, he has been in the senior squad since 2016. So he has become an integral part of Fulham's squad. Like I said, he's only got a year left on his deal. He's blatantly told Fulham that he does, want to leave, and he's also refused to sign a contract renewal. So he does want to leave Fulham. He's notified Fulham about this. I think Fulham have been in talks of trying to get Ryan Sessegnon a new contract, but I think he wants to take his career to the next level. I think Ryan Sessegnon is the first player to be actually born in the 2000, to score a goal in a first team game. But so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Fulham. I think he was in their youth academy, was it, for about 8 years. Obviously made his senior debut at the age of 16, and I think he's been their senior squad since 2016. But I think he's just recently turned 19 years of age not too long ago. But obviously I think Tottenham are now amongst the favourites to currently get the player's signature. Obviously Tottenham want to do some transfer activity this summer, because obviously Tottenham haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, and obviously Mauricio Pochettino wants back in this summer. But I think the last player Tottenham did sign, was actually, Lucas Moura back in 2018. Obviously, their record signing was Davinson Sanchez, who they paid £42 million for from Ajax back in 2017. So obviously, Tottenham want to do some transfer activity this summer. Obviously, they have got quite a few players on their agenda. So Manchester United are in for Ryan Sessegnon, but like I said, I think we're okay on that left-hand side, because I think the majority of our attack is coming from that left-hand side. So I think we're okay on that left-hand side. Obviously, we have got Daniel James in now, so I don't think we'd be too bothered of obviously getting Ryan Sessegnon in. Ryan Sessegnon, like I said, he can play as a left back and a left winger, but obviously we've got Luke Shaw at left back, and I think Luke Shaw's very reliable indeed. Hasn't done much wrong as a Manchester United player, still got a lot of development in him. So I do believe it's looking very imminent that Ryan Sessegnon will leave Fulham, and I probably do think he'll end up making the move to Tottenham. But he did come out quite a few weeks back saying that also Juventus would in for him, but he did say we were actually the only team that made initial contact with Fulham over the potential move for Ryan Sessegnon. But obviously he doesn't want to spend another season in the Championship, and I think this is the main factor reason why he does of course want to leave Fulham. Obviously, like I said, he's obviously Premier League proven now. Obviously season before he had experience, had experience of playing in the Championship, but obviously wants to take his career to the next level now. And obviously he's British, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has showed an interest in quite a few British players. Obviously he wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer, but like I said, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, he wants to fulfil areas where he thinks Manchester United, of course, are lacking. Obviously, I think 3 or 4 players are expected to leave this summer, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on trying to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture and the history of the club. He's also working on trying to keep his imperative players at the football club. But we are getting a spending spree of around £200 million, or is it £250 million? I think that should be enough, for us to get at least around 5 players on the board, depending on how we are with our recruitment this summer. We're going to be sensible with our recruitment and all that. Because of quite a few players people have said, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because there's a lot of players that are available for a reasonable figure, but you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did say he still believes we can, attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But like I said, he wants to he wants to recommend young players to come to Manchester United, and obviously that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy. Don't get me wrong, Ryan Sessegnon, would fit that transfer strategy perfectly, but I think he's, going to make the move to Tottenham because from his own perspective, he wants to make the move to Tottenham. But like I said, I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be, that top four. Even though people said, if we can get the signings that we want this summer, we can, win the league or put, mount a title challenge up. But it's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. We're a number of years off from mounting any kind of title challenge up. And going on into next season, our expectations, will be probably, to finish in the top four, maybe in the Carabao Cup, maybe a winner of the Europa League or something like that. And obviously at the moment, City is strides ahead of us, Liverpool is strides ahead of us. And I do believe, they're going to invest this summer, even though City have spent a lot of money under Guardiola. Obviously, Liverpool had a good window last summer, but they're strides ahead of us at the moment. It's very imperative, that we'll catch up the likes of City and Liverpool, of course. But yeah, it's good that we have got our first signing on the board. Daniel James has been fully confirmed. Obviously, we've agreed an initial £15 million fee. Obviously, add-ons included in the deal. That does potentially, rise up to around £18 million. And hopefully, Daniel James can succeed at Manchester United, and hopefully, he can exceed expectation levels. Obviously, he completed his medical yesterday, did Daniel James. But yeah, we do know the move had been a bit of a delay, based on his father passing away the other week, but it has been fully confirmed now, and hopefully, he can deliver the goods to Manchester United. Don't get me wrong, he's taking a huge step, coming from the Championship, to the Premier League. I think, well, maybe some people said we'll put Daniel James on the right, but I think he's actually supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. That's where you're supposed to see the best of Daniel James. But yeah, that's argument for signing. Obviously, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's obviously our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And he's 21 years of age, and he has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, quite a few teams, went in for him. Brighton went in for him right at the final hurdle. Obviously, Leeds nearly got him in January. Obviously, Everton inquired about his services. So there was quite a few teams in there for him. Obviously, last season was only his first season in his senior squad with Swansea. I think he played about, 39 games. Obviously, only got a year left on his deal with Swansea as Daniel James. But let's be honest, he's a low expectation. He's a cheap acquisition, is Daniel James. But like I said, it's a reasonable figure. He's £15 million. Obviously, as I said, it's not always about getting them Galactico players. It's not always about spending big on players, because like I said, you can get the best players in the world. It doesn't mean you can get the best players in the world, but if they're not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team, it's not going to get you in that commanding position, of course, where you do currently want to be. And obviously, we have got a history of spending big on players, but hopefully, Daniel James, can do well. But the question is, has he got the abilities? Has he got the minerals to make it to the highest level? And obviously, we are gonna, currently find out. But it's good that Daniel James has been fully announced. But he's obviously going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. He's 21. Like I said, he's a Welsh international. So it is very, very good news indeed. So we do know now he's our first signing. But the question is, who's going to be the next current signing, of course. But yeah, that's very, very good news indeed. Obviously, as I've been giving you an update as well on a regular basis about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, he's been on Manchester United's agenda for quite some time. Obviously, he's been on our agenda for quite some time. Obviously, his move to Manchester United, has been looking very imminent indeed. Obviously, Abola, the Portuguese press, they're potentially, where they were basically, suggesting out, saying now we are emerged as the front runners to get the player's signature, because reportedly we are willing to offer around £70 million for Bruno Fernandes. So basically, we are willing to offer more than Manchester City. Obviously, we do know mainly that it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been in for Bruno Fernandes. But recent reports have said that Manchester City now have opted him out of the race, because we're willing to offer more than Manchester City. It did say City were only willing to offer 47 or 48 million pounds for him, but it did say City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. So obviously, it was a players plus cash deal. But he has been on Manchester City's agenda, for quite quite some time, but reportedly now Manchester City have opted out of the race. But now it reportedly says that Tottenham are in for him. Also, Liverpool have entered the race for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Bruno Fernandes did admit, was it sometime this week, that he does like Liverpool. But I still say we are the favourites, to get Bruno Fernandes. I think, like I said, we're set to get him in a deal worth around £70 million. I think it says we have scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon, I think, for next week to currently get the deal finalised. I think we wanted to initially get a deal finalised this week, but I think the meeting has been scheduled for next week. But now Liverpool and Tottenham are in there. Like I basically said, Tottenham have got quite a few midfielders on their agenda, because obviously Christian Eriksen is linked with a move to Real Madrid, and obviously if Christian Eriksen leaves, obviously Tottenham are going to want a replacement for him. So there has been quite a few midfielders on their agenda. Well, I think Tottenham now have entered the race for Bruno Fernandes, because I think the main factor reason why this is because I think now they are seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, and I think his Tottenham's priority target is Giovanni Lo Celso, of course. Obviously, from Giovanni Lo Celso's perspective, he actually does want to make the move to Tottenham. Obviously, Manchester United have also been in there for Giovanni Lo Celso, only 23 years of age. Obviously, is a central midfielder. And so he has been on Tottenham's agenda. It does say Tottenham have been in negotiations with Real Betis over getting a deal concluded and all that. I think it did report out last month saying that Tottenham had put a bid in for him of around £53 million, but I think this had been rejected by Real Betis. So I think now Tottenham have turned their attentions on Bruno Fernandes. But Giovanni Lo Celso, it was only his first season, I think, last season, with Real Betis. The majority of it, he was on loan, with Real Betis. Obviously, Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. Obviously, paid an initial loan fee of just over £2 million, but obviously then Real Betis made the deal permanent back in April, and I think Real Betis paid, was it around £19 or £20 million to make the deal permanent. But obviously PSG do benefit from it. They get a percentage of any current sale, but he's only 23. I think he scored 16 goals in the La Liga last season, did Giovanni Lo Celso. So I think he's Tottenham's priority target, but now reportedly it says a bid has been turned down. They have turned their attentions more on Bruno Fernandes. I think Giovanni Lo Celso's release clause is around £88 million, but I think they're demanding for his release clause to be triggered. I think they want around in the region of £70 or £80 million do Real Betis. So yeah, but like I said with Bruno Fernandes, his initial release clause is around £86 million, but I think obviously Man United and Manchester City were not willing to trigger his release clause, but I think Sporting Lisbon do want around £70 or £71 million for him, but I do believe he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, and obviously he's been really, really good in his couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon, and I do believe he would replicate this form in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes, only 24 years of age, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, and he's primarily an attacking midfielder, so obviously if Paul Pogba goes, Bruno Fernandes is going to be the adequate replacement. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. Obviously had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, when he was younger with the likes of San Pandora and underneath. Basically, Sporting Lisbon, I think, paid around £8 million for Bruno Fernandes from San Pandora. So financially, Sporting Lisbon are going to make huge profit on the player. So obviously, Bruno Fernandes is going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. But like I said, he has got all the attributes to definitely, succeed in the Premier League. And I'd love him to come to Manchester United. He'd blend in our midfield very, very well. And it's one of the priority areas, of course, where we do need to strengthen up. And I do believe he'd bring us them goals in that midfield that we need. He'd also provide, and I think he'd do really, really well with Manchester United. Obviously, the likes of Tottenham and Liverpool, can offer, Bruno Fernandes Champions League football. Obviously, we can't offer him, Champions League football. So more things will update him about Bruno Fernandes. I think Liverpool are actually now planning to hijack, our move for Bruno Fernandes. But he did admit early on in the week, like I said, that he does currently like Liverpool. But Bruno Fernandes said quite a few weeks back, he did say that he's unsure about his future and all that. He denied having any negotiations with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford. But yeah, I think he's a priority target for us. So more things will update about Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, as I've been updating you today as well about Youri Tielemans from Leicester, he's also on Tottenham's agenda. So that's another midfielder that Tottenham are in for. Obviously, we've expressed our interest in Youri Tielemans, and I think it did say if Paul Pogba is to leave the club, that we're seeing obviously Youri Tielemans as a replacement for him. Youri Tielemans obviously he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. He has been very very impressive throughout his loan spell with Leicester. I think from Youri Tielemans' perspective, he's aware of the speculation, but I think he's expected to return to Monaco, of course. I think he's done really well with Leicester, and I think actually Leicester themselves are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. I think Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this, but I think he's expected to return to Monaco because initially Monaco got him for around £21 million from Anderlecht, where he did initially begin his career. I think made about 185 appearances, scored about 35 goals across 4 seasons, during his 4 years with Anderlecht. Obviously, progressing up the ranks with them and all that, and I think he won the league title twice. But Monaco, I think, got him in 2017. But yeah, he's done really well, like I said, on his loan spell with Leicester. I think he's initially valued at around £40 million, so he is available for a reasonable figure. He's only 22 years of age. I think he's primarily a central midfielder, of course. So yeah, Tottenham in for him, in for him. I think also Arsenal have previously, been linked to him. So yeah, do you think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United? Like I did basically say as well about James Maddison from Leicester, recent reports have come out now about him saying that he wants to stay with Leicester, does James Maddison. He wants to stay with Leicester, does James Maddison, even though the likes of, we've been in for him. Recent reports have actually said, that he's keen on making the move to Manchester United, James Maddison, but now reportedly it does say that he wants to stay with Leicester. Obviously, the likes of City, Liverpool and Tottenham have, been linked to him, since he was a teenager at Coventry, but I don't think James Maddison will be intending on obviously spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester, because obviously at some point in his career he'll want to take his footballing career to the next level. Obviously will want to to go to a competitive elite level football club, go to a team that can offer him Champions League football, and go to a team of course that can win trophies. But yeah, quite a few clubs have been interested in him. It did say a couple of days ago in the press that we'd made initial contact with Leicester. We'd made initial contact with James Maddison and his current representatives of potential move to Old Trafford, and it did say we have emerged him as a priority target. It also said Leicester did say they wanted around £60 million for him, and like I said, I think we would be happy to pay £60 million for James Maddison's services, and I think he's very good. He's attacking midfielder, only very young, 22 years of age, Premier League proven, obviously has had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, as James Maddison. Like I said, last season I think he scored 7 goals, got 7 assists, obviously created more chances than any other player last season, so he has been on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around, was it £20 million? Obviously, he signed a 5-year deal with Leicester last summer, so obviously he's under contract with them until 2023. And like I said, I do believe he would be the good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, would James Maddison. So I really like him a lot. Plus he's British. But I think, he may be intending on spending at least another season with Leicester. But he has got a lot of development in him, of course. I think he did have a good couple of years, when he was in the Championship, with Norwich. I think he began his career with Coventry. He also had a loan spell with Coventry. He also had the loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. So there has been quite a lot of talks going on about James Maddison in the last couple of days. We haven't put any formal bidding for him. But obviously, of course, he has been on our agenda. Like as I updated you earlier on, of course, with what was going on with Matthias de Ligt from Ajax. I think we are now set to miss out on Matthias de Ligt because obviously, we have emerged him as a priority target. Obviously, he's a central defender. Obviously, we do know he's been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. We do know he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window, and so many teams have inquired about his services. But like I said, I think we are set to miss out on Matthias de Ligt. We do know it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Ajax this summer, but it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season, because obviously Matthias de Ligt has not made a decision on his future yet. I think it did say set to make a decision sometime next week on his future, is Matthias de Ligt, but he has not yet made his current decision. I think he was supposed to make his decision sometime this week, but I think he's going to decide next week, of course. So obviously a lot of teams have been in there for him, of course, but I think now the two favourable teams that are in the ascendancy of getting him is obviously Barcelona and of course PSG. And I think Matthias de Ligt is set to choose between Matthias de Ligt. He's set to choose between Barcelona and PSG, of course, because I think now they are considered as the favourites, to get a deal over the line for Matthias de Ligt. But we do know at least anyway in the last couple of months that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy. Obviously, it came out from Sky Sports the other week saying that, he was set to join Barcelona, was Matthias de Ligt. Obviously, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, Frankie de Jong. Obviously, Barcelona paid around £65 million for him, of course. But like I said, Matthias de Ligt is obviously, confirmed that he doesn't want to come to Manchester United, I don't think, because obviously, he wants to join a club that's got Champions League football, and obviously, we haven't got a Champions League football for next season. But obviously, it came out the other week saying that talks had stalled, between Matthias de Ligt and Barcelona. Obviously, the main factor reason why this had occurred is obviously, reflecting on the financial demands. Barcelona were not willing to meet what de Ligt was demanding and what his agent Raiola was demanding, but they are still considered as one of the favourites, and so too are PSG. So I think Barcelona and PSG are his at the moment are his likely destinations, of course. But we do know previously Bayern Munich have been in for him, but I think Bayern Munich have opted out of the race. Obviously, Liverpool are in there for him. Like I said, I think the main factor reason why Liverpool are in for Matthias de Ligt, because obviously, Liverpool have got Virgil van Dijk, and obviously, Virgil van Dijk and Matthias de Ligt, know each other really, really well, because obviously, they're both Dutch, they're both playing the Netherlands national team. So yeah, Liverpool are definitely in for him. I think, Matthias de Ligt's agent Raiola, came out and he's basically urged his client, to join Liverpool. So I think from his own preference, he wants, Matthias de Ligt to join Liverpool. Obviously, we all know as well, Manchester City have been in for him previously. Obviously, they're looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. Obviously, Juventus are in there for him. So in terms of the transfer fees, Matthias de Ligt is going to cost you from between probably 70 to 75 million pounds, because that's what he's initially rated at. But it did say we'd offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year. And obviously, if this was to process, this would make him the highest paid teenager in world football. Obviously, make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. But I don't think he's too bothered about this now. I think he wants, from his own preference, he wants to go to a team that can offer him a Champions League football. So these many teams are in there for him, but he's going to be leaving Ajax. Like I said, so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. He's been their senior squad about 2.5, 3 years now. Obviously, only 19 years of age, and I do believe if he came to Manchester United, he would address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well. I think he got named captain of Ajax at just the age of 18, and I think he made his senior debut at just the age of 17. So he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad. Obviously enjoyed a good season last season, of course, winning domestic double with Ajax, of course winning the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course progressing to the Champions League semi-final. So Matthias de Ligt, can leave Ajax with his head held up high. So he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation, but according now to recent reports, I think we are set to miss out on him. I still believe that we are in there for him, but I think reports have said, we are set to miss out on Matthias de Ligt. I think it did say that PSG are also, willing, it did say we're willing to outbid any other clubs for his services. It did also say that PSG are willing to meet what de Ligt's demanding and what his agent Raiola is demanding. So I think Barcelona and PSG at the moment are going to be his likely destinations, as it does reportedly say in the media. But yeah, as I said, he's been an Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. So he has progressed up the ranks fantastically well. So like I said, I'd love him at Manchester United. If he came to the Premier League, he would take his footballing career to the next level. But Matthias de Ligt has admitted he's got several options on the table. I think it did say he has suggested out that he's got a preferred option, but obviously that club has not been revealed as yet. But I don't see him coming to Manchester United if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Like I said, another problem with Manchester United as well, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, that's been another issue. Obviously, Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, we have been in talks of getting Marcus Rashford a new contract. Obviously, he's like I said, he's in the final year of his deal. Like I said, I don't think Manchester United are orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford, because obviously we still believe he's a long-term solution, even though he has been inconsistent in his last couple of games. Obviously, Rashford has been a Manchester United player, since the age of 7, 8, and progressing up the ranks fantastically well and been in the senior squad with us since 2016. So hopefully somewhere along the line, we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract. Obviously, with Juan Mata, I think it is looking likely that he's going to be leaving this summer. I think Manchester United are still in talks of trying to get him a new contract. I think we are willing to offer him. Is it a 1-year extension or a 2-year extension? I can't see us willing to offer him a long-term contract. Reflecting on his age, because he's age 31 now. He's Juan Mata, but I still think it's looking likely. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. Even though I'd like him to spend at least another season with the club, because I think he's been a great servant here. He's been in the Premier League 8 years in total. This is obviously including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger, and obviously he's been at Manchester United 5 years. Unless he doesn't even get in the squad now anyway, so he is a squad player with Juan Mata, but he has made over 200 odd appearances for us in all competitions. So he has been very, very consistent. So I would like Juan Mata to stay at least for another season. Like I said, with De Gea, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving. He's David De Gea, without a shadow of a doubt. David De Gea is going to be leaving. But obviously, we want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer next year, because that would be a calamity if we let David De Gea go on a free transfer next year. I think his likely destination is going to be PSG. I think reports did come out saying that PSG are willing to offer around £60 million to him. I think obviously full value for the goalkeeper. David De Gea is worth £100 million, but obviously we're not going to get £100 million for David De Gea because he's in the final year of his contract. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on keeping his imperative players at the club, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative David De Gea is. He's been long serving. He's been here 8 years. Like I said, he's been here. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. But we do know Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, a deal, of course, never materialised. So I don't see him going to Madrid. I think he'll probably end up making the move to PSG. Now, PSG have actually, stepped their interest up more in him because obviously, Buffon is set to leave PSG. But like I said, he's won everything here domestically with us. He's obviously won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 seasons. And obviously, he's been here since the Alex Ferguson era, because I think we got him for around £17 million from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. Hasn't really done much wrong, in his 8-year period at Manchester United. I know he was making some costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. And now David De Gea is 28 years of age, so he has still got quite a bit of a development in him. But like I said, I think the main reason why we haven't got him a new contract, and we have been in the process of trying to get him a new contract, but I think the main reason why we're not getting him one, because obviously, David De Gea is demanding around £350,000 a week. Obviously, we're not willing to meet his wage demands, and I think PSG are willing to meet his wage demands. So I think he's definitely not going to be leaving the club, is David De Gea. And obviously, it came out the other week saying that he had turned down a final contract offer from Manchester United. I don't think we're intending on buying a goalkeeper to replace De Gea. I think we actually want I think Solskjaer's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. Like I said, he did demonstrate himself well in the FA Cup games last season, but I don't know if he's yet, reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper. Romero, I know we've got the likes of Dean Henderson, but like I said, with Dean Henderson, he's too inexperienced at the moment. Obviously, I know he's been on loan with Sheffield United and he's still young, but I think he needs to be loaned out for another season, to gain a bit more experience. So yeah, we definitely need to buy a goalkeeper if David De Gea leaves the club. Like I said, though, there's a possibility chance now that Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku could remain at the football club. Obviously, it has been looking very imminent that Lukaku's going to be leaving. It has been looking very imminent that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving. But based on the huge transfer fees, like I said, we've put on them, that could be a stumbling block of them currently leaving. So like I said, I think it will be very beneficial if we can cash in for Pogba, if we can cash in for Lukaku, because that's around £200 million there. So like I said, we are getting around £200 million this summer, but obviously it's going to rise up to a lot more than that, if we cash in for Pogba and Lukaku. And obviously it's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition. But I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is. And we do know Paul Pogba has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. We do know Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid, and I do believe Pogba believes he will end up, making the move to Real Madrid. Even though recent reports have said, Juventus are interested in Paul Pogba, they're interested in re-signing him. Obviously, it was coming from a very reliable Italian journalist, Di Marzio. He basically said that, you know, Juventus have made initial contact with Manchester United. Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent Emilio Raiola. So yeah, these are possibility chance that maybe he would be open to the return back to cheering Paul Pogba. I think Juventus would have to offload a couple of their essential players, you know, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think, you know, Juventus would be able to afford to get Paul Pogba outright. So I think they'd have to offload a couple of their essential players, because they can't afford him outright. So he did have 4 good years in cheering, did Paul Pogba. You know, he exceeded expectation levels well, and he was really, really consistent. But he hasn't really, you know, he's failed to replicate this form at Manchester United, and he hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, of course. Obviously, you know, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, you know, our most expensive signing. Like I said, we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first 3 months as the interim manager. That's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, and we mainly saw the best of Pogba, you know, when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact Ander Herrera made, because obviously Ander Herrera, you know, freed up Paul Pogba. Pogba was expressing himself, and during that 3-month period, you know, he was in absolutely scintillating form. Was Paul Pogba, of course. So he is still potentially, you know, one of the best midfielders in world football. You know, when he's playing in the right vein, when he's playing in the right manner. But maybe the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. You know, wants to be in Champions League football, and obviously, you know, wants to be winning trophies and wants to be competing, of course. And he isn't experiencing this at Manchester United. Is Paul Pogba. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to do everything he can, you know, to try and convince, you know, Paul Pogba to remain at the football club. And obviously, it came out the other week saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But obviously, this isn't going to be enough, you know, to convince him to stay at Manchester United. Paul Pogba has still got 3 years left on his contract. I think we have been in negotiations before of trying to get him a new contract, of course. But we do know, at least in the last 5 or 6 weeks, that Paul Pogba's agent Raiola has been in the process of finding a new club. But like I said, you know, Zinedine Zidane's got a lot of players on his agenda this summer. But obviously, you know, he's identified his 2 main targets, and of course, that's Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. But I think now Real Madrid are trying to orchestrate something out, because I don't think, you know, Florentino Perez and Real Madrid and all that are keen on getting, you know, Paul Pogba in a straight cash payment, because obviously, you know, we don't want to sell him. But I think if we have to, we want around 150 or 160 million pounds for him. But obviously, you know, Real Madrid are reluctant, you know, to pay up to 150 or 160 million pounds. So it did come out, was it about 3 or 4 days ago? It did say Real Madrid willing to offer 3 of their players to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United, and it did basically say the players that got mentioned were obviously, you know, Gareth Bale, James Rodriguez, and Keylor Navas. Whether Manchester United, you know, will be willing to go along with this, I do not know. But it did say the other week from a lot of Spanish outlets that, you know, Paul Pogba to Real Madrid was practically done and all that. He did say Paul Pogba had agreed a massive pay cut. He did say salary a year was set to be reduced from 13 million to 10 million. So it did say his wages were set to be dropped by around £3 million a year, because obviously, you know, he did say talks had stalled, you know, between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid a while back, you know, because obviously, you know, his wage demands were the stumbling block in the negotiations. So I think he did say Paul Pogba is willing to take a current pay cut, of course. But we do know there's still a possibility he could remain at the club. Obviously, you know, he was linked with he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, of course. And obviously last year he was linked with Juventus. He was also linked to move to Barcelona, of course. So don't know what's really going to be happening with him at the moment. But Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is. And like I currently said, there's obviously, you know, been a lot of central defenders on our agenda, of course. Obviously, you know, there's been a lot of talks about, you know, Koulibaly, you know, going on. Obviously, you know, that was one of Jose Mourinho's players who he wanted to, you know, Jose Mourinho wanted to bring him to Manchester United. Obviously, you know, the rumours have continued to persist linking Koulibaly with a move to Old Trafford, you know, since last summer. And like I said, the process started under Jose Mourinho. But I think Napoli are basically, you know, reluctant to sell. Obviously, you know, they priced him out the transfer market, because obviously they're demanding an extortionate amount. You know, reportedly they want around £150 million. Obviously, you know, Manchester United are not going to pay that. Obviously, you know, the likes of Real Madrid are not going to pay that, because obviously it came out the other week saying that we had around a £90 million bid turned down for him. Also, Real Madrid had a £90 million bid turned down for him. And I think it's also said that we are preparing to put an £84 million bid in for Koulibaly. But obviously, you know, this figure is going to be nowhere near enough, you know, to convince Napoli to offload him. You know, don't get me wrong, I'd love him to come to the Premier League, because he has still got quite a lot of development in him as Koulibaly. You know, he's 27, nearly 28 years of age. He is regarded as one of the best centre-backs in the world. And I do believe that we need a world-class central defender, because we haven't had one, you know, since we had the likes of Vidic, you know, since we had the likes likes of Ferdinand, and I think we need two central defenders, you know, should I say, because I don't think Smalling's good enough, you know, I don't think Phil Jones is good enough, you know. Smalling and Phil Jones have been two long-serving players at the club, you know. Smalling's been here 9 years, Phil Jones has been here 8 years, and comparing them, I think Smalling's much better than Phil Jones, but like I said, they're not good enough now for Manchester United, you know. It was a bad mistake from, you know, us, you know, giving them two new long-term contracts, but I'd love Koulibaly at Manchester United, you know. It came out the other week saying that, you know, we have identified him as our priority target. It was blatantly made clear that obviously, you know, we'd have to break the world transfer record for him, but I don't see, you know, Koulibaly coming to Manchester United now. Obviously, you know, we had 3 bids turned down for him last year, and I think we also had a £95 million bid turned down for him last year. But obviously, he's been at Napoli 5 seasons. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions, and he's done really, really well. And I think he's still under contract with Napoli until 2023. But obviously, we've got to get the right players this summer, because obviously, you know, we didn't spend out in January. You know, we didn't get as #1 priority targets last summer. I think last summer, you know, we only got Diego Dalot for £19 million from Porto, who's done really, really well, to be fair. You know, we got Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk, you know, for around, was it £50 million? He's around 47. He's between 47 to £50 million that we did get Fred for. To be fair to Fred, you know, he did prove himself towards the back end of last season. You know, I think he's actually, you know, I think he's more mobile on the ball than Nemanja Matic is Fred. So I do believe that Fred is actually, you know, a better solution than Nemanja Matic. We got him from Shakhtar Donetsk, and we also got Lee Grant, of course. So we didn't get his #1 priority targets last summer, because obviously the main factor reason why that was because obviously, you know, the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. So like I said, you know, Jose Mourinho wanted Koulibaly, but I don't see us getting him now, to be quite honest with you, because obviously Napoli said they want around £150 million. But I'd love him to come in, you know, don't get me wrong. I think he's definitely got all the attributes, you know, to succeed in the Premier League, and I do believe he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, and he'd blend in very, very well alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line, but I do not see it happening. Obviously, while there has been talks of Harry Maguire going on, I think a lot of the vast majority of Manchester United fans, you know, would like to see Harry Maguire, you know, come in, even though he's, you know, Leicester are demanding an extortionate price for him. Recent reports did say Leicester want around £90 million for Harry Maguire, but I just can't see Manchester United or Manchester City, you know, willing to pay up to £90 million for him, even though we have got the financial power, you know, to meet that valuation. You know, obviously, you know, City, I think, have identified him as their #1, you know, to replace, you know, Vincent Kompany. But like I said, would we pay £90 million? For me personally, I don't think he's worth £90 million, Harry Maguire. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a really good central defender. You know, he's Premier League proven. He's had a couple of seasons in the Premier League, you know, with Leicester. Obviously signed a new long-term contract with them last summer, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. But obviously, you know, again, Jose Mourinho wanted him last summer, but I think last summer Leicester wanted around £75 million him. So I think now Leicester, I've said basically, you know, they want around £90 million there for Harry Maguire. So Manchester United or Manchester City have got to break the world transfer record. But he's 26, he's in his prime, you know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I don't think Harry Maguire, you know, will be intending on spending the rest of his playing career, you know, with Leicester. He'll want to take his footballing career to the next level. But yeah, Manchester City and Manchester United are in there for him. I think Leicester paid around, was it £17 million from Hull City. But yeah, you know, recent reports said Leicester want around £90 million him. Because let's be honest, Harry Maguire is not a Van Dijk, he's not a Koulibaly, he's not a Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. He's not in their calibre or level, but I still think he's a really good central defender, and he would, you know, be a fantastic upgrade in that defensive area. And he's very tall as well, you know, which is very beneficial. But I just wouldn't be keen on us, you know, paying £90 million for him. Obviously as well, Alderweireld, I think it did say last week where we were set to make a decision sometime this week on whether we're going to go in for Toby Alderweireld or not. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to actually know. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, you know, to bring Toby Alderweireld in, because like Solskjaer said, he's not intending on bringing any short-term players to the club. Don't get me wrong, Alderweireld still may have a couple of years in him, but he is aging up now, you know, he's 30 years of age. Don't get me wrong, I still think he'd be a great upgrade in our defence, because obviously, you know, he's well Premier League proven. He's been in the Premier League a number of years. I think he's been at Tottenham about 4 seasons now. But looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, he's a cheap alternative. You know, Alderweireld is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Koulibaly. He's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Harry Maguire. He's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Matthijs de Ligt and all that. So he's a cheaper solution, of course. But I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. His release clause is £25 million. Obviously, you know, Tottenham activated this 12-month extension back in the was it back in January? Tottenham activated this 12-month extension and included this 25 million release clause. But again, we was linked with Alderweireld last summer. So there has been so many central defenders on our agenda, because obviously we need to address that. We have got problems defensively, because that just proven that last season. I think last season we conceded about 54 goals in the Premier League as well. But like I said, so many central defenders on our agenda. I think Smalling and Jones need to leave. With Eric Bay, I think he's got great potential. When he's fully fit, he does hold his line really, really well, does Eric Bay. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United now about 3 years, of course. Obviously, we got him under Jose Mourinho. It was actually Jose Mourinho's first signing. Jose Mourinho bought 11 players, just spent under 400 million. But obviously, Eric Bay was the first signing. To be fair to Bay, he burst into the scenes really, really well when he first came into the Premier League. But I think based on his fallout under managers, based on the injuries he has sustained, I think it's had a really bad effect on his Manchester United career. So I think it would be beneficial, selling him off. I think, we would want to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. So I think we need to get rid of Eric Bay. It's looking very imminent that Rojo and Darmian, of course, are going to be leaving. I said at an estimated guess we can get around 25 to £30 million for them. But I do believe we need a central defensive midfielder without a shadow of a doubt, because that's one of the areas where we are lacking. Like I said, McTominay's too inexperienced at the moment. Like I said, Matic is too inconsistent. I've got strong reservations about him, plus he's aging up. And obviously, Fellaini left back in January. So Thomas Partey has been on our agenda, of course. Obviously, it came out the other day. This was actually stemming from his dad, saying that obviously Thomas Partey wants to make the move to England. And obviously, like I said, his dad basically said this. Obviously, Manchester United and Arsenal have inquired about Thomas Partey's services. And again, he is available for a reasonable figure. I think his release clause is around £43 million in his contract with Atletico Madrid. So there has been a lot of talks about him going on. I think he has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. 25 years of age, so still got a lot of development in him. But I don't really know much about him, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think he's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2023. Obviously, Declan Rice is on our agenda. Like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents this summer. And obviously, Declan Rice is British, only 20 years of age, well Premier League proven, and initially learned his trade in the Premier League. Declan Rice, I think it did say before, West Ham would want around £50 million if they were willing to sell him. But I really, really like Declan Rice. Holds his line really well, energetic, and he's exceeded expectation levels with West Ham. So, like I said, he's primarily defensive midfielder. I think he can play as a centre back, but I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder. But I do really, really like Declan Rice. I think he initially signed a new long-term contract with West Ham. Was it back in December of last year? So he's under contract with West Ham until 2024. Is Declan Rice. So obviously now we have been in there for him. Obviously as well, we're still in for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, he's been on our agenda for quite some time. It's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Again, British is Wan-Bissaka, but we definitely, need a right back, because like I said, Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, he's served 10 years at Manchester United. I don't know where his next destination is going to be. We need a replacement for him, like I said. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young, and we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. But like I was saying, Ashley Young has no longer, got the abilities. He's no longer got the abilities, to fulfill that right back position. Obviously, too inconsistent now. Again, it was a bad mistake from us, giving him that new 1 year extension. So I think, Wan-Bissaka, would be fantastic for Manchester United. Premier League proven. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that Crystal Palace wanted around 60 or 70 million pounds from him. I think this did put Manchester United off a little bit. But I think this is what Crystal Palace, initially rate him at. It came out the other week saying that we had submitted a bid of around £25 million for Wan-Bissaka, but obviously, this figure's not going to be enough, to convince Crystal Palace to let him go. So he has got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. His defensive capabilities are very, very good, and I do believe he would have the ability, to elevate Manchester United at least over the next 2 to 3 years. Only 21 years of age so far, has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace, obviously progressing them up their ranks and all that. Has only been in their senior squad about 14 or 15 months. I think he broke into their senior squad in February of 2018, but he has become an integral part of their squad. I think he is regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. So I would love him, to come to Manchester United. Initially, when he was younger, he was a winner, but as he was developing and all that, he got rotated as a right back down Wan-Bissaka. But I think that fullback's been a problem for Manchester United at least in the last couple of years. But we're young. He's past his sell by date. He's aging up. He's 33 years of age now. He's nearly 34, and by the time his 1 year extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age. Ashley Young, you know, don't get him wrong, I've admired his career at Manchester United because he has been very essential over the years, and he has done really, really well, and he was a really, really good winner when he was younger. But yeah, he's definitely one of the problematic players for Manchester United. But yeah, I would definitely take Wan-Bissaka. But now, obviously, I think we have now that Thomas Meunier has been mentioned in the last couple of days. I think we've actually now prioritised Thomas Meunier over Wan-Bissaka. I still believe Wan-Bissaka's on our agenda, but obviously now with what's been coming out with Thomas Meunier recently, you know, we're looking at it like, you know, he wants to come to Manchester United, does Meunier. Obviously, he's a much cheaper solution than Wan-Bissaka, so Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka, because reportedly PSG want from between 22 to 25 million pounds for him. But and obviously, you know, it has been Manchester United and Arsenal have inquired about his services, as you all know. I think, you know, a lot of this, you know, could be stemming from his age, you know, don't get me wrong. But, you know, Thomas Meunier reportedly has been a Manchester United fan, you know, since he was a youngster, and that's, of course, his preferred destination. But maybe Unai Emery is keen on reuniting, you know, with Thomas Meunier, because obviously Thomas Meunier found himself more of a regular starter for PSG when Unai Emery is there. So he did flourish under Unai Emery's guidance, but since Unai Emery left, you know, he has found himself service to requirements as Meunier, and obviously this is the main factor reason why he's set to leave PSG. He is predominantly a right back. Obviously he's 27 years of age. Obviously he's a lot more experienced than Wan-Bissaka. He's 27. Obviously he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. He has been at PSG about 3 years now, hasn't he? As you know, Thomas Meunier. I think he's made about 101 appearances for them, and I think if they got him from Club Brugge for around 5 million back in 2016. But like I said, predominantly right back, can also play in other positions as well. So he's very, very versatile, got goals in him, got assists in him, and I do believe he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. So I've said he's got quite a lot of development in him still. I think he's still got about 3 or 4 years at least left in him. So there has been a lot of talks about Meunier going on. So there has been quite a few right backs on our agenda. And yeah, you know, that's mainly everything to update you on. But I wanted to give you the latest news of what's going on with Ryan Sessegnon. Reportedly, you know, Fulham. Reportedly, he's basically, you know, told Fulham he's not going to be renewing his contract. He wants to leave Fulham. His preferred destination is Tottenham, so I think he wants to make the move to Tottenham. I think Fulham want around £40 million for him. I think maybe Tottenham could be reluctant to pay up to this amount. I think Tottenham want to get him for around £25 million, Ryan Sessegnon. But I do like Ryan Sessegnon a lot, and I think he has become an integral part of Fulham's squad. But he obviously believes now, Ryan Sessegnon, that he's too good for Fulham. Obviously, he's reluctant to spend another season in the Championship, of course. Obviously, you know, Fulham got relegated after only spending 1 season in the top flight, of course, so they are back in the Championship for next season. But yeah, that's all the latest news to give you an update on. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to the channel as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.